We got 5 knives here from a brand new company that I've never tried before. This is the first time I'm getting to check out their knives, and this is MOLSECT knives. So we'll check these ones out here in a minute. These are 2 of their more premium knives, and here are 3 of their budget knives, which we're gonna start with. Inside the box, we have a green pleather pouch, basically a fake leather pouch. And the first one we're gonna check out is the Jungle. The MOLSECT Jungle. Ooh, good flipping action. Oh yeah. Try it again. I can fail, but it's a heavy blade, but my goodness, you give it any effort, that thing it's kicking. It's a good D10. We have a 14C 28M blade, clip point blade with a somewhat of a robust grind, but this is a big knife. So being a big knife, you know, I think that that's okay. I just don't like to see thick geometry on a knife where it doesn't make sense. This one makes a little bit more sense. It is beefy. The G10 has like this dragon scale pattern, crocodile scale, fish scale, whatever you want to call it, pattern on it that is machined into it. So it's actually, you know, machined into it. So it does offer some good texture. We have a okay plunge grind, I guess. You can see they already hit the edge or the plunge right there with the stone. And that's what I mean. When that plunge grind is close to the edge, that's what you do. You wind up chewing it up. I do see we have a flathead right here for the screw. Inside the pouch, by the way, does come a lanyard and a wipe, and I don't think a tool though, but flathead, that's pretty easy. You do have star bits down here though. Is that torque or is that, yeah, torque bits down there. Now, let's talk about the action, and then we'll talk about some negatives. So, thumb flick is great. Love the thumb flick. These thumb studs, I like the color of them. They are pretty interesting. They have that spiral around them, which works good for the thumb, but not necessarily for the reverse flick. The reverse flick's okay on this. Like, I can easily do it. But having traction around the edge is a little bit better for reverse flick rather than around the sides, because your finger typically lands on the edge, right? Not on the spiral, but it works good. And the flipping action's great. So both of the actions are good. Detent is solid. Lockup, very good. No side to side, no up and down, no stick. The drop is really nice. I'm not sure if it's ceramic or steel bearings, but very, very smooth. I can definitely tell it is on bearings. Let's talk about a couple negatives. So one, right off the bat, the one that stands out the most to me, the name on the clip. And let me explain why. And I'm gonna put up some pictures while I'm explaining this. You don't want, if you're trying to be a company that people look to for good knives, a company that's the standard of good knives, or stands out as a company of good knives, a company that people can know that we're getting a reliable knife from, and when they see your company or see you, they think quality knife. If you're trying to be that, then you do not want to blend in with the companies that do not. You do not want to blend in with all the companies that are known for making gas station knives, making Dollar General, Dollar Tree knives that you can get for $1.99 or $5.99 or whatever, that are using no-name steels that aren't even barely heat treated. You do not want to blend in with those guys, and all of them are doing this, every single one of them. Of course, there's a select few prominent companies that are reliable and are highly recommendable knives, but they've been doing it so long, people know the name. You haven't, right? So you don't get that benefit of branding your name on something so big. You already have a logo. Don't do this. Especially look at those big blocky letters like that. That literally stands out as gas station knife to me. And people do not want this hanging out of their pocket. They just don't. I don't care how much you love your name, just don't do it. It looks stupid. And like I said, unless if you want people to think of your knives as gas station knives, which in the USA, that is not a good statement. That is not a good statement. You never want to buy your knife from a gas station. Let's just say that. Anyways, let's get to the next one, because there's not really that much negative here. That is bad. You know, plunge grind could be better, could be farther away from the edge, but I guarantee this is a very affordable knife, so I'm not going to complain too much. It's a solid knife. It's a good knife. The next one is a bit more compact. This one's also in 14C28N. We have a drop point blade with a G10 handle, steel liner lock, obviously an affordable knife, or a more affordable knife, I should say. Good ergos though. This is still, you know, it's for a compact knife. I can get a full grip on it. It feels nice and secure, feels good in the hand. The action feels very smooth. Ooh, it's got a nice kick, nice sound. I can hear the bearings rolling a little bit, but that'll break right in. It's just from the coating. Snappy action. So you can see how smooth this thing already is out of the box. So this thing's gonna just get smoother and smoother. Flipper tab's nice and comfortable. Good detent. Good access to the lock bar too. So far I do like to see that. Detent is a little late though. So when you disengage, right there is the detent. Look at how late that is. Now it almost feels like there's a ramp. I don't think there is, but it's just a softer liner. So it winds up getting over it really quick. So you can just basically shake it past it. But you do hit it unless you hold really low on the lock bar. So just something to consider. A lot of people don't care about that. They typically just go like this and then slam and shut anyways, like that. So just depends on your preference. Same complaint over here with this damn clip. Got the big name on it. You know what? The other one I did want to bring back up because there was something else I seen. The damn clip. They put the button screws under. There was not even a button, but they have like sharp edges on them. I'm sure it's fine, but why not put inset screws, flat inset screws instead of just flat screws? This one's a little bit better. You can see they're not, oh no, they're basically the exact same. Never mind, they're the exact same. So they poke up a little bit, but they happen to be almost flush with the G10. The ramp is very, very small. So, I mean, it works because there's not a lot, like, you know, it's bendable. But yeah, I mean, I just prefer just do the inset flat screws, no name on it. Put the ramp's fine, but it could be a little bit better. I noticed they're using the flathead screw on this guy, or flathead screwdriver as well on this guy. The liners do not have weight relieving, which I don't mind. Now, as far as the negatives go, no plunge grind, and I can see that the grind is wonky at the heel. Now, the problem with this, okay, so for the price that they're charging for these, these little details are unacceptable. Let me explain why. So, you have a grind issue back here. See how this is peeking up a little farther, and you can see how the edge does not match itself going across. It's like the angle twists. See that? See that how it gets dark right there? So that's not a good sign. It shows a bad quality edge from the factory, and I can feel it's not the sharpest edge, and the edge angle is very high. So this is going to be a knife you're going to want to almost immediately sharpen, like immediately, and you're going to hit the plunge grind. Now, the reason why I'm saying about the price thing is because there's companies right now that are making $40 knives that don't have any of these issues. I mean, that are clean. You know, like Sencut, Civivi, you know, and many, many others that are doing really good edges, good angles, nice sharpness that are consistent, very consistent, at least as consistent as you can get for the price. So, you know, when you're trying to charge even more than those companies, it can be a little bit of an issue for people to buy from that. Now, people might want to just try it because these do feel like decent knives. I don't know how the heat treatment is, but, you know, they do feel like decent knives. But you don't want to put yourself in a box with the companies that are not doing a good job. And if you are doing a good job, you definitely don't want to be in the same box as the companies not doing a good job. And you separate yourself by doing the better work in those areas, the little areas, the areas that that some people might not even see, but or even notice right back. Okay, so this one, okay, we got really nice G10. I do like this. Is this my Carta? No, this is G10. That's a nice G10. I like that. Very, very soft. Has a nice texture to it. Almost fabric-y. And this one is a front flipper only. I do see a little... Oh, you can get it, but you can't. It's not really intended, but I can get my finger in there kind of, but it's only a front flipper. Do not count that fuller as a flicker. It is too tight, but the front flipper now works great. They did the perfect jimping on there. I believe this is the most affordable one too. Very good jimping on that front flipper. Like, it's the exact kind you want, where it's catchy, goes up all the way around, nice and sharp. You can do the reach over, you can do the side finger, you can do the thumb, all the little tricks with the front flipper. Very easily done. This one's a hollow grind in 14C once again. Very nice. Hollow ground 14C 28M blade. Love to see that. Good lockup. Nice and smooth. Let's check that where that detent lands this time. This one's not a lot earlier, and it doesn't have a flipper tab, so you don't have to worry about that hitting you. Very smooth. Ergos, it does go from thicker to slimmer, which I typically don't like, but this one's broad enough and wide enough that it does feel pretty comfortable in the hand. I'm actually not too mad at that whatsoever. Lockup. Ooh, I got a little up and down. Yeah. No failure. And see, guys, I'm holding it from the back. So if it fails, let's just pretend it fails, it's not going to hit me. But yeah, we got some. Now, I bet I could fix it. Let's just put a little tension on the lock bar. Yeah. So I could get rid of it pretty easily just by increasing the tension of the lock bar. But here's the issue. There's no liner access. They did so good on the other ones, and then they fumbled the bag on this one. This is even 1-in-1 with the liners and the G10. It makes it to where you have to wedge your finger in the front and kind of catch this texture and hope it grips you. Now, if I put more tension on this lock bar, it will be stronger to push over and more difficult to disengage without a lock bar cutout. Another reason why I always say make sure you do a lock bar cutout. The next negative is the plunge grind sharpening choil. Once again, it's better than the last one by far. Actually, you know what? This one's okay. This one's okay because it ends like right there. And since this is such an affordable knife, I'm not mad at it. It'll be okay. And the edge angle is a lot better on this one than the other one, because this one's a hollow grind and it has a lower edge angle. So this one has a decent edge on it as far as sharpness and quality goes. The clip, once again, big old brand name, MOLSECT knives. Don't do that. And then you got the button screws again, or the flat button screws, whatever it's called. They pop up a little bit. Lots of milling on the inside of this one. This one's pretty cool. I do like this one. I don't like T6s though. That's another thing. And most of the budget companies, or not most, a lot of the budget companies that are running $40, $30, $40, $50, $60 knives, all are using T8s all the way across the board. They might use T6s right here on the clip, but all the body screws and pivot and everything are T8s. So that definitely knocks it down a peg too, because when you start considering all the companies in the same price range, you start thinking and comparing them of who's doing what better, and you usually will come to a conclusion of who's doing it the best. Well, then if that company is putting out a ton of knives, well then you're competing with a lot if they're doing them well. But let's check out their more premium knives. Let's move these over here. So we have, I think one of them's a premium knife and one of them is not a premium knife. One's a budget knife. It just happens to be in one of these boxes. That'll be, so this one right here. This one's a little shocking. Let me just say that. We have a gold knife. Solid gold knife. Not like 24 karat gold, but gold paint or whatever it is. And we have somewhat of like a Persian drop point. It's kind of weird how it scoops down and then back up. It definitely trails up. So we have a trailing drop point. You can call it a trailing clip point. I don't care. Good flipping action. Very slick though. It's very smooth. Everything's smooth on it. The handle has this leaf or tree or whatever. I think it's a leaf with a weird, interesting texture on it. Almost like, kind of reminds me of an orange peel, but it's not. You do have a reverse flicking hole. Good access to the lock bar. It's a little tight in there. This definitely is not for my hands. I think this is a horrible ergonomics. I would never use this knife like this. Maybe like this. This is about the only way I would use this knife. Pinch grips. The flipping action's good. Nice sound. At least decent. You can hear the engagement of the lock bar. Good lockup. Detent's a little late on this one too. Yeah, it's late. So you got to hit the detent every time. That's another thing. Late detents, no bueno. It stops you from being able to just drop it. The hole is a little small and you have this corner right here. But okay, so good parts about it, I can't find too much. I'll be honest. I don't find too much good here. I hate the blade. I hate the plunge grind. What? Do you use different words instead of hate? Okay, I prefer a different blade. What? I dislike the blade. I dislike the blade. I don't like the shape of it very much, and I really don't like the plunge grind. I really dislike the plunge grind. Well, not even the plunge grind, just the start of the edge. It's like it recurves up. So now every time when you sharpen it, that's how it's actually going to sharpen anyway. So it's going to be hard to hit this peak right here, but every time you sharpen, it's going to recurve more and more. That's just the nature of the beast when you have a thicker grind back here from the beginning of the edge. I don't like the gold. I think it makes it look cheap. It makes it look gas station-y. It makes it look like it's a $5 knife from China that's sold in a quickie mart in the middle of the projects. Or in the middle of the hood, I should say. That's what it looks like. Looks like this is a knife that would be in one of those glass spinny things where they're just lined up on the thing. You could spin them and look at all these $6 knives. That's what it looks like. I dislike it a lot. They did not put the name on the clip though. Whoa. They're doing it big time over here. Yeah. It's not for me. It's not for me. I'm not going to sit here and keep dragging it because these guys aren't making bad knives. But here is one that I definitely like quite a bit. This one they did a damn good job on. Let's check this one out. So we have a somewhat, I want to say a harpoon, because if you look, it comes down, it does poon up just a little bit. So let's just say a slight poon action clip point blade. Good size handle. It's not a large knife. It's more of a poo action. Yep, poo action instead of poon. It's comfortable in the hand for a compact knife. It's not super big, but it's also not super small. Good access to the lock bar. Oh yeah, by the way, S35 VN blade steel, titanium frame lock. I believe it's S35, right? Yes, S35 VN. The blade length is 3.2 inches. Like I said, not a long knife, not a really big knife. Good access to the titanium frame lock. You have a hole deployment. And if you look at the hole, it has like, it's a hole with a hole inside. So it's like an eyeball. It literally looks like an eyeball. That's what it looks like. You can easily reverse flick it. You can easily thumb flick it. They both work pretty well. The hole's not very big, but because of that edge inside the hole inside the hole, it does work very well. There's a nice chamfer on the lock bar's edge. The titanium has a blasted finish over it, and then we have a really nice cut of carbon fiber. Check this out. So you have the machine lines of the carbon fiber here, and you can see all the fibers of the carbon fiber. Now watch when I turn it to its side. You can see the side cut section of the carbon fiber. So you can see, one, this is real carbon fiber, but two, this is a nice cut of carbon fiber. Look at that fibers, man. They're nice and thick, nice and heavy. You can really see them. So that's something I tend to look at, and you see the shine. I like that. So good carbon fiber. There are different qualities of carbon fiber. The flipping action, flipping action is nice. It has good detent. Nice traction too on the flipper tab. You can light switch it or push button it. Both of them work equally as good. Detent. I could fail it if I really wanted to, but you do have to try. It reliably flips even with a very light deployment. So good action. Now, I'm glad they did not put my name on this clip. This clip's much, much better. I do prefer the lock bar for the cutout to be on the inside, but this is, you know, this is not too expensive. I'm not sure how well this pocket clip works, but at least it's not on the lock bar, and it looks like, it appears to be a clip that'll work fairly well. The back, I like how it's a sandwich or clamshell construction, where it's, well, it wouldn't be sandwich, it'd be clamshell construction, where it's just two pieces. You have this side, and they put together, and they even did like a round section right there. So this half is machined out of one piece, and then this half is machined out of one piece, and then they're screwed together. That looks pretty cool. It does have a small seam, but it's very subtle, and it looks like it's very well done. Good job on this one, guys. So really good work on that. As far as nitpicks and negatives, plunge grind, once again, the grind is not great on this. The sharpness is not great. You can see they're already hitting the plunge grind from the factory, and you can see how it does look wonky, how it's got like a little bit of a wave right here. You can kind of see it. The edge angle is off from one side to the other, or the grind is, one of the two. The sharpness is not very sharp. It's not the sharpest edge. Don't check your edges that way, but it definitely doesn't have a lot of bite. It'll cut, but hardly. Yeah, it won't push cut for sure. So, a little bit better on this paper, but I still couldn't push cut it. See how it hangs up? Here's a push cut. I mean, I don't expect it to have an edge like one of these, you know, because I put that on myself. But I do expect it to still have, you know, still be able to push cut. Now, you can always sharpen it yourself. I do not know how their heat treatment is. Lockup is solid. No stick. Nice engagement. Not a lot of bad here. There is quite a bit more good than bad for sure. But when I see an edge done like this, I typically am worried that the heat treatment's not the best. And it does have this blasted finish, which I do not prefer. This blasted finish is more susceptible to corrosion. S35VN is plenty stainless. By the way, the gold knife was K110. I don't know if I said that, but S35VN is plenty stainless, but it still can corrode, especially if you give it a damp or corrosive environment, especially on a bead blast. It just tends to corrode faster like that. All in all, solid knife. I do like this one. This is probably my favorite one out of the bunch. Centering. Oh, centering's off a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. Because I did notice there was a little bit of slip out of the pivot. Oh, that fits perfectly too. Look at that. There we go. Centering's back to good. So, just came a little loose from me flipping it. Still flips good. Maybe a little bit tighter, but I cranked on it. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I think it's pretty good. It just, you know, they just need some, they got room to improve for sure, right? So, I don't know how long they've been a company, but they do have quite a few knives, and you know, I always want to see knife companies do well. So I try to call it as I see it and tell them ways they can improve. And I think if they took the words and the things that I said in this video and worked on those things, they could potentially be a company that people do consider as a reliable knife company. As far as right now, I wouldn't say that until they work out some of those details. I'm not saying they have to be perfect. I do not expect a $50, $60, $70 knife to be perfect by any means, but we have companies out there doing a damn near perfect job with theirs. So there's a standard that we have in the community that people need to meet. Now, if you're going to be a gas station knife, be a gas station knife. But if you're going to be a quality knife, well, then you have to reach those standards. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.